Otra de las temáticas que hemos traído a este importante encuentro es una que no deja de ser imperativo para las grandes organizaciones y es la cultura del ADN innovador, que debe sin duda correr por las venas estructurales para poder promover la innovación a lo largo y ancho de las organizaciones. Le damos a continuación la bienvenida a Daniel dos Santos Leipitz, director corporativo de Relaciones Humanas de Visto Sistemas. Él también se desempeña como presidente de Sapiens Parque y presidente del Consejo Deliberativo de ACATE, Asociación de Tecnología de Santa Catarina. Él nos trae la conferencia sobre el verdadero secreto de la innovación, Caso Florianópolis. Bienvenido, Daniel.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here in Colombia. I'm going to tell you guys a story about a small island in the south of Brazil. An island that 45 years ago used to have about 8,000 people living there. And at that time, we just used to have fishermen and people who works for the government. So there is no place to work, and I'm going to tell you how we changed this. How it all began. At that time, 45 years ago, we have a lot of lack of opportunities. There are no jobs for the people, for the young people, for the talents. The people need to leave the place, leave the town, to another country, to another capital, to a place where there are jobs and industries. And that time, about 40 years ago, 8 entrepreneurs divided in 4 startups. At that time, we used call the name startups, but companies. They are doing a new business. At that time, in the first year, they earned annually $4,000, the 4 companies together, $10,000 in revenue together in their first year. And these people turn it in a place where we have more than 4,000 IT companies, and our revenue nowadays passed $2 billion a year. So we were in a small island in the south of Brazil, just fishermen and people who work for the government. And we nowadays are a huge place to develop your startup, innovation, and everything related with that. How we changed that? Here's a small graphic where you can see, for example, in Florianópolis, the number of IT companies in 2016. You can see we were growing, and at that point, we just got much up. We disrupted this kind of point. And I'm going to tell you guys how we changed that at that moment. First of all, to develop that, we need to have a strong ecosystem. And this ecosystem, must have talents, so the universities, the people who wants to develop, the young people, the entrepreneurs. You have to have a support structure. You have to special lawyers, special accountants, special consultants to help the people to get developed. We have access to capital. If you don't have capital, you cannot develop yourself. So nowadays we have a lot of people and funds, international funds, bank of investments who are helping the people to develop. We have also, as the people from Sebrae told us a little bit late, about our regulatory environment. This is very important, people, because a few years ago in Florianópolis, we couldn't open a company in our room of one of our apartments. For example, our young people could not open a company in their room of the apartment of their parents. Was not allowed. And you know, guys, that nowadays the room used to be the garage from Silicon Valley in 70s. So this is impossible. This is not too good. So we changed that. And so that's why regulatory environment is so important. And the most important thing is the culture. The culture of give back, the culture of helping the other people, the culture of collaborate with the other company, the culture of compartilhate the things. I'm going to bring some numbers of Santa Catarina here. So if we got Santa Catarina in these last 4 years, we grew 92%, comparing to Brazil that was growing 26%. This is the number of the companies that we have, the IT companies that we have now in Santa Catarina. Nowadays, in 2022, we are already 20,000 companies there. So we created a factory of generating entrepreneurs, a factory of generating entrepreneurs. We have now more than 100,000 people working in this area, in the area of IT. And this is really important, guys, because one people who works to IT, they earn like 3 times more than a normal worker that works in a restaurant, that works in services, or everything else. And nowadays, in our state, we already have the revenue of more $4 billion in IT companies. And that represents our 6.1% of our GPS. One thing that is important for an ecosystem is acquisitions cases. So we have a lot of acquisitions cases nowadays that big companies, multinationals, they bought a local startups and they help us to develop much more. We have Decora, we have Agrinas, we have HBCs. All of them were bought for big multinationals, and they keep their companies in our island and helping to develop the people, helping to develop the ecosystem, and helping these multinationals to get more innovated and developed. For example, Agnes was sold to Cargill, and nowadays Agnes is all around the world. For example, last month he opened an operation in China, and we are very proud to see a film from there where they are showing their product in Chinese. Here another cases that are very important. Last year we have more than $8 billion in investments in M&As in Santa Catarina. So it's a huge money that helps, and most of this money stay in our country, stay in our state, stay in our city, developing much more companies than our city. Well, as I told you, one thing that is really, really important is the purpose and the values. This is the most important thing that helped us to develop a place where there were nothing, and nowadays we have a lot of things. Protagonism. Being a protagonist of change, acting for the growth of the ecosystem, develop the state, transform people and business. belonging. The people needs to feel that they participate of that. There is no ecosystem in the world that can develop without the people feels that they belong to that thing, to that movement. Confidence. We trust our colleagues, for that is the basis of collaboration. If it's not possible to comply, we justify and notify you in advance. People, when we trust each other, we go much more faster. This is really important. I learned this with Itendra and Manuel. We need to trust. When you have an ecosystem stronger, you need to trust the people. Collaboration, inspire confidence and committing to responsibility and actively collaborating to the ecosystem. If you think as we used to think in the past, that we have secrets, we don't want to share the things, we are not gonna get developed. Excellence, willingness and courage to do the best now. I used to say, people, when we put together a lot of crazy guys that want to change the world, you go through something that is impossible. You realize you do something impossible, and we did a lot of things that are impossible. This is the universe of ACACI, our association of companies from the state. We are 1,017 companies that are associated, and we are divided in the whole state. And nowadays, ACACI is getting to another states because he have a lot of things to help the companies to develop. This is the main thing of the ecosystem. Try to develop the companies that they belongs. And one of the things that the value that delivers is really important is to see that we have many different needs along our journey as an entrepreneur. So we have the seed, we have the early stage, we have the growth, we have the late stage and corporates. Each of these kind of companies there have special programs, special things to help to develop in their actual needs. Associativism, people. This is the basis also of an ecosystem. If we are associates, we can develop much faster. And nowadays we have more than 50 benefits and agreements to help these companies to get developed. One problem that we have that is very important, and you guys should do it in your ecosystem, is what we call the verticals. We are distributed in many verticals like agri-tech, constru-tech, education, energy, fintech, people tech, health, security, smart cities, retail, and these verticals is where the small companies, where the people, the startups who are just beginning can be together, can develop yourself, can go to market together. Sometimes you don't have money to buy a place in a big meeting or something like that. These people go together, share a space, and go to market together. So there are many things that help it to develop the companies, and this is one of the greater things that we have there. As I told you, more than 1,000 business opportunities were generated in 2021 to these companies who were participating from the verticals. We also have 4 thematic groups: international, investments, angel investors, and women ACACI. that they are doing the real difference for the whole ecosystem. We also have an incubator that is really, really important for the companies who want to develop. This incubator is a maintainer from Sebrae, and they have a lot of very, very important cases from our ecosystem. Both of them, two of them, I can tell you, last year was sold, the two companies who were from this program were sold last year, both of them for $500 million each one. That was RD Station and was, I forgot the name now, I will remember as soon. Meditech have nowadays are sparing here methodology for 6 places. Now we have 6 incubators spare in the state that are helping much more companies, much more startups in their journey. This program, people, that I would like to keep a little bit more of time here because this is our innovation program, our open innovation programs. We have more than 30 corporates right now, 90 business generated in 3 years, and here is our best goal, 42% average growth in the revenue from startups connected to this program. So it's really important to them. Here are some of the corporate that participate in the program. And here is how does it work, the whole journey of the Link Lab. So we have the first step of onboarding, late we have assessment, the challenge, we do a campaign of startups, we attract and prospecting them, we do a round of speeches, connections and kickoff of the projects, and follow-ups the projects later. So this is working pretty well in Brazil, and when you go there, you can see a little bit more what we are doing in that. Here's some of the corporates. Oh, sorry. I'm going to show you up a little bit of the structure that we have there. So we have a lot of innovation centers. Some of them I'm going to show you here around the state. And here, people, I want to talk about the Sapiens Park. Sapiens Park, I'm there for the last 1.5 years. I was as a president of Acati before, and now I'm in the Sapiens Park. And this area is the area where we are trying to connect to the best projects and best things that are happening in the world. In the last 1.5 years, we already bought to the park more than $300 million in projects. I'm going to tell you a little bit more of some of these projects, like we are building the whole Brazilian nano-satellites there. We are going to launch the first one now in 15th of February. We are going to have a hike with the SpaceX from Elon Musk. We have a project of the pre-salt robot that cleaned the pipes for more than 8 kilometers down the sea. This is no one is doing in the world. We are launching now a green hydrogen factory lab that is going to be launched here at the end of the year. We are synthesizing, people, ammonia to do the fertilizants. Nowadays, Brazil imports these from Russia and Ukraine, and we need to change that and to not be so dependent from that. We are building their data center Tier 4. That is really important to have a place like that in our area. And we have the biggest lab in the world to build meat from the cells, people. We are gonna build there a big lab to build meat from the cells. This is a $100 million project that we are doing there. We have nowadays the best lab of preclinical pharmaceutical tests in South America. 2 of the vaccines that all of we have were tested also there from Brazil and South America. We have the 2 of the better and oldest incubators in Brazil, as we see, Miditech, I told you before. We are also now doing electric mobility projects there. We are with WEG, there is a big multinational from Brazil, and many other companies. We are testing also photovoltaic on the crops of coffee, people. Arabica coffee can be planted in the shadow, and we are doing that with photovoltaic up to the crop. We are also a factory of manufacturing electronic boards and Industry 4.0. For example, we have the boards of the airplanes, we are doing there. The boards of the big tractors that are using in our agriculture are built there also. And we have there the Institute of Innovation of Embedded Systems, and much more, people. So I invited you guys to go there to see what we are doing there and connect each other to maybe do things together. Brazil is so, they need to look to their partner, to their brothers around, to their neighborhoods, and maybe the language, maybe something else. We need to break that and start to be more, to do more exchanges. So one of the things that we are doing, I'm almost finishing, is to transform the park in a district of innovation. The people nowadays want to live, want to drink a beer, want to their sons to study around there. So we need to put all this together in a 50-minute walking, and we are doing that. A lot of recognitions here that we had already, and thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.